Hello everyone and welcome back to the show. This is Lance Hightower, one of the Cryptid brothers, coming to you from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I hope this episode finds everyone well out there wherever you may be in your neck of the woods. Before we get going with this very strange and unusual dogman encounter out of North Carolina, I want to mention just a couple things here briefly. We have a channel winner that has shared 909 times. The channel name is Garrett34Dillon. That's Garrett34Dillon. Was sharing 909 times. Wow, thank you so much. And we appreciate you. And we're going to continue on with this contest into next month. So if Garrett34Dillon will call the toll-free number, give us your name and address, we'll get you a gift from us, the Cryptid Brothers, to you ASAP. So also, with that being said, as far as thank yous, we want to thank a lot of the cryptid shows in this genre out there. We're being talked about a lot in a positive light. Now that there's some shows coming out with the Fed cover-ups, and our show that we broke last year, episode 24, the exclusive, the Ohio Bigfoot attack and Fed cover-up, was one of the largest shows, I guess, last year that hit. And we also are being mentioned on a national scene. There is a lady, Miss Ackley, that has filed a lawsuit, and our show that we broke is being mentioned. So we want to thank everybody so much for the accolades, and we're just honored that that gentleman would share with us. He was given our toll-free number by a close friend of his that thought enough of him to give our number to him. And so we're very honored that he would call us. We remain in contact, at least on a bi-weekly basis. We're actually very good friends, and so we still communicate. He's doing so much better, and so I hope sometime in the future that I can have him on as a follow-up when things still settle down just a little bit more and he feels more comfortable to get back on the air. So we'll let you know. So thanks to all the cryptid shows that are out there that are talking about us, and we just keep growing faster and faster. So thank you so much. In addition to that, we have our website I've mentioned numerous times. It's coming up, I promise. We're putting some finalized and finishing touches on. We're going to have some video, a lot of video on there. We're going to have the podcast starting out on iTunes, that we're going to expand it into other platforms, podcast platforms. Memberships are very inexpensive. It'll be like 2 cups of coffee a month is what the cost is going to be. But this is a way that you can support the show, aside from subscribing to our YouTube channel, which we appreciate. The memberships help support in a positive light. You've mentioned you want to see better things on video. Well, those memberships help support video and audio equipment and just overall improvement of the show. And so we want to do some really cool things for you guys. We work very hard behind the scenes, and we're going to continue to work very hard for you to bring you the very best shows that are out there and getting in the field to talk to individuals and filming. With that being said, we're going to have one of the coolest cryptid stores out there. We've got very unique, one-of-a-kind items that we're going to make in our shop and studio here that will be just in small batches. They'll be limited edition. So when the website comes out, which I'll let you know, you definitely want to check that out through there. So with that being said, we are going to be in Woodward, Oklahoma. The Cryptid Brothers will all be out there coming next month. I'll let you know on the show. We're going to have a town hall meeting. We've got some ranchers and farmers out there that have seen some of these dogman creatures, and so we're going to have a map out there, and we're going to have everybody kind of stand up and tell us what they saw. We're going to be filming, and we're going to make that a show for you guys. So if you're out in that Woodward area, be sure, and we're going to have some flyers up. Let us know that you're coming, and we'll know kind of how big the venue needs to be. But we're all going to be out there, myself, Bill, Lane, and Wiley Dave, and we're going to help answer some questions they may have, as well as trying to pinpoint where these creatures are so we can try to call one of these creatures in and see if we can actually get some video footage for you guys. So if you're out that way, I'd love to meet you. Can't wait to get to know you. So I'll let you know more as it approaches next month. So let's get right into it here. I had a lady call. She was very sweet in her disposition, but just very frightened. She was calling mainly with questions. Her and her father saw something. She went grocery shopping early in the morning, and when she got back home, she was completely terrified with the size of this dogman type creature. So it's incredible. So let's go there now. When she was explaining to me what both her and her father saw early in the morning, one night?
This happened this year, and it happened about a month ago. Me and my dad, we went to the grocery store. We go over to the next county, and we decided we're going to go to the Walmart, the grocery store. And I saw something weird at the grocery store, but it was like a normal size, but it was a weird color.
Like
and I was telling my friends, it only got stranger when I got back to my house, and I saw something 3 times as big as a house. I mean...
What?
Yeah. I live in town over here close to the airport. Me and my dad, I pulled in. Like I said, I live in town, and you're not supposed to see things like that in town. Well, I pulled in. I go to the back of the car. I raise the car thing because we drive a Kia. I raise the Kia. Back of the car that, when I pull in, how do I explain this? The street runs one way, and I just pulled in off the street. My driveway is just a little spot where you pull in. Right, the road goes down in front of my house.
Okay.
Okay. I pulled in. Me and him, we get out. I finished smoking my cigarette, and I said, okay, I'll go pull up the car thing and pull it up. Get the groceries out of the back of the trunk. For a Kia, you don't actually have a real trunk. You got one of those. You pull it up and you lean in, you get the groceries. I leaned in, and I turned around. My dad was beside of me. We both had our backs to this. We didn't know anything was around,
Right.
I mean, there's apartments. This ain't just houses. This is houses and apartments all mixed together.
Around you?
Yes, all around me. Like I said, I'm not too far from the airport. Well, I turned around. Before I got completely turned around, I let go of the bags. I turned all the way around from my back to my butt and everything, right where the groceries is, I let go of the groceries. I turned around. My dad still had his back to me. And I knew I couldn't. I didn't scream or nothing, but I did this as quiet as I could, because I know my dad has this reflex thing. If you tap him on the back, he's going to draw back on you.
Right.
So I grabbed my dad's arm, and I said, and I shook it a little bit. I mean, I was shaking all over. I said, Dad, would you let that go and turn around and tell me what that is? I extended my arm all the way out, and my finger was pointing. I said, what is that? And my dad said, and about 7 more he said, I don't know what that is. He said, let's just stand here until this goes by. I saw a tail. I mean, this thing, he must have been on all fours, because all I saw was like a 5-foot giant dog tail, feet that was really weird, and it's down on all fours, I didn't see its head. I didn't see its neck. I didn't see the first 2 legs, but I got a side view of everything from that part all the way back to its tail. And its daggone tail, it looked like a dog's tail. It's thick and erect, straight out. Jet black, had hair on it. Well, what I thought was hair, because I got long hair. And underneath it, if you was to just do something for a minute, extend your arm all the way out.
Okay.
From your arm to your elbow, inside the elbow seam, this thing had straight hair like mane or something all the way down from it, and that's how far it extended down.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Good
and
Lord.
Up the ridge of it, it had this freaking about middle ways up. the part like I said, I couldn't see his head or its neck or the front legs, but I got a good look at the back legs, the whole side view of this thing, except for the first half of it.
Was the first half covered up by something, or what?
While our backs was turned, this thing had walked right through, and I'm talking, it was 1 block over from our house. Okay, from our house. Now picture this if you can in your mind.
Okay.
Okay, from block to block, there's always 2 lots from block to block. Well, there used to be a trailer there. The trailer got moved out. So the space is all the way clear to the next block. You can see it. Okay, over there, there's a pecan tree and another little tree. I'm assuming it's a pecan too or something else. Anyway, it walked in between the other thing. There's a bunch of trees and apartments to build a sideways right in through between the 2 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
On my street and the next block over, because the driveway, I'm assuming, goes all the way through. But it's going straight down the hill, and them 2 trees, its body is in between them 2 trees. The side view of it.
Oh,
well,
I see.
Hill is on the other side. And I'm looking, and I thought that hill was 5 foot long. Boy, was I wrong. You know how I know?
No.
It took me a month or 2, maybe about a month. Just about 2 weeks ago, I walked across over there.
Right.
And I took a ruler over there. I've got a bunch of rulers. I used to work in furniture. I know how to read an easy rule ruler.
Exactly.
I took a 6-foot ruler out there. It timed out. I went back home, got a 25-foot ruler, walked back over there from that tree to that tree. Well, it measured 29 foot long.
What?
Yeah, 29 foot long.
Oh my gosh.
That was just the middle part. That wasn't even the tail. When the tail got between there, it fit perfectly too. So if that tail and the rest of that body, that would total up to 58 feet, what I saw.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
At about maybe 5.5 feet tall.
What did your dad say, or what time of day was this?
It was 3:30 in the morning. We went to the store about 12 o'clock that night, and I shopped, and I'm a slow shopper because I go up and down aisles, I forget things, and I didn't take no list with me, and, you know, I was a bit slow. I was in the store a couple hours. We got back, and we pulled in. It was about 3:33 in the morning. It was pitch dark. But see, over at Hilltop Apartments,
Yes.
is the block this thing's walking down the hill. And that's in like the northwest section. And it got beside there's one apartment. Its head and the rest of it must have been out of there. But I never did. I was sitting there and I was watching this, and I didn't see the back legs move, even though and they looked different. They were big too. And I don't know what that one guy, I heard this one guy say something about a dog thing being the size of telephone poles.
Yes.
Freaking 4 telephone poles.
Good Lord. I've never heard one that big before.
I wonder what that sucker's head looks like. If that's what the rest of his body looks like.
When did you say again? About a month ago?
Yes, last month.
Last month.
2016, yes.
So in February.
That is not the first time I saw this thing, but I was looking out my front door and see my blinds one time, and I thought I saw that, and I said, well, somebody's trying to do something. I thought it was some kind of weird float, but that thing actually moved like it was a float, you know?
So it was smooth in its motion, you're saying?
Oh, yes, very smooth, and it wasn't in no hurry.
So
I probably wasn't staying for about a minute before I got my dad to turn around because it took me about that long to get my composure. And that's about the third time I saw that. But the first two times I thought it was somebody over a hilltop, you know. And I thought, well, that's a car. What'd they do to a car? But this time I was outside, and I turned around, and I saw that. That wasn't a car.
So,
see something as big as the daggone transfer truck. Long as a daggone trailer.
that is mind-blowing. I have
Yeah,
never...
it blew mine all right. I told some of my friends on CB, and first I even had to ask them if they thought I was crazy because I was beginning to wonder, you know. And they said, no, we know you too long. And one of my friends said, remember what I told you on the radio a couple months before that, where he was seeing lights and he couldn't explain what he was seeing. Another one of my friends, he come in there, I think he called that friend on the phone so he'd get on the radio and said, she's pretty tore up, you need to talk to her. Well, that friend, she behind was Nobby. And Nobby had saw Bigfoot. And Nobby, I kind of did laugh at Nobby because he threw rocks at one time. It was a Bigfoot.
Uh-huh.
And I told him, I said, I ain't laughing at you because what you saw. I'm laughing at you because you did a stupid thing. You're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that for sure.
But what I saw, it really... That's just weird.
You said you saw it a few other times before, and you blew off. When was the first time? What time of the year? How long ago did you see it the first time that you thought it was just like a blimp or something or whatever?
In the winter, when it was real cold, of 2017, at the end, right before it turned over to 2018, you know, it was real cold.
Yes.
Okay. It was so cold nobody wanted to be outside, and me and my dad we've been heating with like electric heaters, so real cold. And at about the end of that month before it changed over to the new year, you know.
Right.
But I guess a little bit around December the first time, about the middle after Christmas.
And this was all since, I mean, the first time you saw it to, I mean...
The first time I saw it...
It was all last year.
Christmas of 2017, yeah. And the second time I saw it was in January of 2018. Both of those two times it was dark. It was nighttime. And it was real cold.
What's the temperature like right now where you're at?
I have to look on my phone for my weather thing.
So back in February, was there snow on the ground?
No, it was kind of below freezing. You know, yeah, because right now it's like 31.
Okay.
But it says it's 44.
Had your dad ever seen anything remotely like this at all? What have both you and him spoke about since that?
Well, considering my dad's age, he's like 85 years old. And every time he sees me going to the front door to look out the blinds late at night, and he said, looking for that monster? But when one day he told me he didn't see that, and I was standing right beside him, I know he saw that. He wouldn't have went, you know, that many times and said, I don't know what that was. He said, wait till it goes by. and then hurry up and get these groceries in the house. He said, don't bother putting any groceries up. Get them in, and keep coming out and get until we get them all in, then we're going to lock the front door.
Good night.
Does that sound like somebody
No.
didn't see something?
Yeah, he saw something. He saw something like you did, absolutely.
Of course he did. He was standing right beside of me. He told me, don't bother putting no groceries up. He said, just take them in there and drop them in the floor and come and get the rest. He said, don't bother about finding a place on the table. He said, just drop them in the floor and come back. Well, I go back out there to get some more. My dad has to go to the bathroom while I'm doing this, so that left me doing all of it. So I just ran out there and got them and ran back in, you know.
So tell me, when you turned around and you dropped your bag and you were telling your dad, put the groceries down and just turn around, how many feet or yards from where you were standing to where this thing at its closest point was at, how close do you think it was, in feet or yards? Tell me about how far you think.
Well, that's about 1 block, because it's on 18th Street Place. I'm on 18th Street, so that's exactly 1 block, and in between each block is 2 lots.
Oh, I see. That's close.
See now? Yeah.
Yeah, that's close. Was there any people driving by or anything, or what? No, I guess it was early in the morning, so there probably wasn't.
In the morning, he's in the bed sleeping, but the apartment has got all these lights up. You can see the apartment building. It's all lit up over there. You can see that too.
Good Lord. So there was enough light, even though it was dark, there was enough light. Obviously, you could see the silhouette, you could see the shapes, you could see the length of this thing.
Oh, yeah. I got a good side view because it was going down the street, down the bottom of the hill. And everything I saw was a side view of it. And the pads on the bottom of this thing's feet, its 2 back feet, was humongous. But I didn't see no, like, claws or anything, just big, humongous feet with these big pads on it. And if you was to take your finger straight out,
mm-hmm.
Now close your fingers or that your fingertips are on the back of your palm.
Okay.
And look at your now. Like this, walking that big, but I didn't see no claws. But man, it was massive, a massive paws. And the pads on the bottom of the paws, you could see that too. And these big black pads underneath its feet. It had these weird kind of design things up on his legs. I couldn't understand that. It seemed like I'd saw that before on something.
Say that again?
On his, like, legs.
Yes.
It had weird designs on his legs.
What? When you say, like on its legs, like it was...
Like some kind of pattern. Like that didn't belong to that body or something, but it had like this... It reminded me of something I saw on one of those, like, Sumerian rock things where the people had all these weird things that nobody knows what they are.
Oh, so it was a pattern, nothing like a number that we would understand or anything, but it was just an odd carving or something that was... Like it was tattooed on it or something weird. Really?
Carved in like a design or something. Yes, really.
And it was on the side of the leg.
It was on its legs, yes. That was strange. Like, no way, because remember I thought its tail was 5 foot long and I was wrong. It wasn't.
Right.
And if I hadn't measured that, if I hadn't took that ruler out there and measured that, and then I'm thinking, what did we see? I don't want to ever see it again, but I'm not sleeping good. I'm up all night now. it's effective. I mean, I've always been a night person, and I've always had sleep patterns, but this is really making me, it's affecting my eating, it's affecting my sleeping.
Well, Joanne, I can't imagine everything that you've gone through, and I don't want to say that I've gone through the same thing because I haven't, but I can tell you just calling took a lot of courage, and I appreciate that. And we can talk as long as you want, and you can call me anytime, okay? This is my personal number, and if you need to call me day or night, please, I want you to, okay?
Okay.
And
Can I ask you something?
yes, go right ahead.
What do you think it was?
Well, based on your description of what you're telling me, and I've never heard one get this large, I'll tell you that right from the get-go. It sounds more like what we're calling in general, and I'm using a generic term here, but everybody recognizes this description. It sounds like a dogman type of creature. Now, we don't know, honestly, where it comes from. We have some suspicion that it's man-made. It's not something natural, that it was, and there's a couple theories on this, and of course this is kind of debatable in this type of community, people talking about these creatures, but you'll hear people saying that it either came from outer space, somewhere out there that was put here that's not natural, or it's man-made. It has some components that are possibly human, believe it or not, but some parts that are not human. We don't really understand a lot.
That's inhuman to me.
Yeah, with the dogman creature, the largest that I have heard of, that I've interviewed someone at present, at this point in time, the largest I have heard is about, when standing, it was about 8.5 to 9 feet in height and about 750 pounds. And it's built from the waist down like a dog. It has dog legs like a dog hawk, the reverse knee like a dog has. And its tail, it has a bushy tail. And when it's running, I have heard some people describe when they witnessed it, it sticks straight out like a 2x4. And then, but when it's not running and it's on all fours, it can be on 2 legs walking as well as crawling on 4 legs like a regular dog. Most people see these creatures that resemble a dog, although there are other people that have seen another type, and they call it a type 3 that looks like a Bigfoot blended with a dog. Some people have seen creatures like that, but the most common description that people give is it's built like a werewolf. That's the best description. It's built like a werewolf. It has the upper body like a bodybuilder, huge massive shoulders, arms, and it has claws, not fingernails, but claws, and the head is enormous, and the teeth are a little larger in size. And the thing overall, not only is it scary to see, obviously, that you've unfortunately experienced, but that these things can think. It has a level of intellect that it can actually think its way through situations. It actually has an affinity or a mental capacity, if you will, to think and reason. That's what's really mind-blowing about these creatures, that it's just incredible to even talk about, because when you talk about this, people either immediately say, there's no way in HELL that this exists. But I'm telling you the truth, that there are many, many, many credible people as yourself that have seen these creatures. Now, I can't say at this point I've ever heard anyone seeing one as big as what you have. That's mind-blowing to me, the size of this thing. I've never heard...
All of it. Like I said, I didn't see its head, its neck, or its first two paws, the leg, feet, or whatever. Didn't see that part of it. I turned around too late to see that part of it.
Wow, I'm blown away by what you saw. You've shared this, obviously, it sounds like, with some folks that know you really well. Has anyone spoke of when you shared this? Have you, or even just noticed in like anything strange in the local paper or radio, or anybody noticing people or dogs missing or cattle missing or anything like that in the area?
No, because I don't get the local paper. But the funny thing was, the next day, get this, Longview, what did they say that street was, 29th Street or something like that, was supposed to have a baby bear in the area. I busted out and started laughing. I said, and they showed a picture of a baby bear, and I said, well, that wasn't what I saw, unless bears grow daggone dog tails real big, and unless they're the size of giant. That was the only thing I thought was weird.
That is really strange. That is strange.
But I didn't smell nothing. I didn't hear no sounds. And its back legs didn't bend. And it didn't look like it took a person takes one step and then another step. This thing didn't do that with either one of its back legs. It just moved all together. I mean, it seemed like the front part of this thing must have been pulling the back part of it. Because the back part did not move, did not take a step.
Well, I've heard, I'm just asking to get a mind's eye what you saw, because I have spoken to a few people that they describe a very similar circumstance, or witnessing kind of this thing pulling itself forward, and so it gives a very odd, strange of how it's moving. It doesn't look right what we would normally see how a dog walk or other four-legged animals.
I mean, it had this hump, like I said, middle ways of it, a big hump, like it. You know what a camel's hump looks like?
Yes.
Okay, middle ways up on the top of this thing, it had a hump.
Really? Was it? Could you tell if it was really shaggy with hair, or it was just a hump right in the middle?
No, it wasn't shaggy with hair. It just had a hump right in the middle.
And this tail, you said, stuck straight out.
Yes, straight out. It was erect, straight out. Like if you was to hold your arm straight out. And it went all the way through like that, too.
Where it left to, where it went, what was it woods going into a wooded area? Was it more apartment area? Was there more people in that area where you saw it leaving to?
Okay. It's going down to the bottom of the hill. I mean, you can Google it. If I live in North Carolina, you can Google it. If that was over there on 18th Street Place, it's going down to the bottom of the hill. Or the top of the hill is where 2nd Avenue runs in to all these streets on this block. The bottom of the hill is a 4-lane. And there's apartments and houses all the way through, all the way. That's what they used to call the old airport road. It goes all the way around to the airport.
I will take a look for sure. That's incredible. That's just incredible.
But see, ever since, you remember that tornado that hit North Carolina?
Yeah.
It thinned out a lot of trees and stuff. I mean, I had a tree that got 2 trees actually. and did damage to my house and everything. Just about everybody all over into here. I always see the airport. The airport got hit hard, and it thinned out so many trees, you know?
Right.
And I couldn't figure, where's that thing hot? It's got to be going summers during the day.
Yeah.
The only thing I thought about was the big giant hole that's over here back behind my house, and the woman that is beside of me down below her house, but she lives closer to the 4-lane. And there's this big, giant, massive hole.
Is it a cave, or is it just straight down in the ground?
I don't know. It just opened up, and it opened up, and it opened up, and it's still opening up. I mean, see, my dad accused me because I walked through the house a lot of times, and he said, "You're walking too hard." And I gained some weight, and he said, "Oh, I can hear you." One day I was asleep, and he said, "I heard something big walking, and it wasn't you, and it shook the whole house." And I said, "Well, I've heard it when you was in the basement before, and I knew it wasn't you. I don't know what it was." I said, "Are we on maybe we was on a fault line or something, because we're having a lot of sinkholes, massive sinkholes. Maybe that's what's causing them."
Wow.
You know?
So you guys felt like an impact vibration, possibly, of this thing walking around the outside while you were inside the house.
Yeah.
Good night.
And he was accusing me. I was accusing him a couple of times, too. I said, "Well, you don't have to walk so heavy neither. I've heard you do it, too." Except for a time he was in the basement, and I knew it wasn't him.
And that you can recall that vibration that you guys have been feeling. How long have you been feeling that?
For a long time now. Last maybe 2 years. See, we can feel all the vibration. And I'll tell you the reason why. When we bought our house, and I've lived here since 1988. When we bought our house, the person who we bought it from, he goes in the basement and he digs all the way around the foundation. So it don't take much for us to feel a vibration. My dad's been for years trying to stabilize it. And he thinks he got it about good enough to stabilize. He said, "Well, I heard you." I said, "That wasn't me." You know?
Man. Are there any military bases close by? Or relatively close by in the area? Say within about a 25-mile radius?
Oh, I don't know. Airport's the closest thing. I mean, sometimes I'd see some black choppers flying around. But,
black choppers?
Yeah.
Tell me about...
Something that was funny looking. It didn't look like a normal black chopper, too.
Tell me about that, if you would.
Because I think they got a new design now to them or something. Because it don't look like any of the regular black choppers. See, before we moved here, like my house it's in the flight pattern. Over there as well, you could open from where I used to live, you could open the front door and go to the mailbox, and you just about have to dive down, and you'd see Army military planes, because there's a mountain up there. It's got a airport on top of some mountain over in there, where they do it to that, and you just about have to dive down. Sometimes they fly a bit low. But
wow.
Like I said, I live over here close to the airport. I can see when they have their airplane shows, they have the air show. They fly right over. You can see the air show and everything. But, yeah, I have seen a couple of those black helicopters. But I just assume that they're looking for people who smoke or grow pot or something, you know?
Right.
That's what I thought it was.
Do they have, on the underside of the helicopter, is there like any bulbs or domes on the bottom side?
Domes?
Yeah,
No.
like on the belly of the helicopter, is there like a kind of like a big bowl underneath, or a ball? Do you notice anything like that?
No. Like I said, I saw 2 choppers, and one of them looked like it was some kind of new design. Brand new chopper, too. Had a funny, it didn't have a regular chopper design to it. You know how you'd see just a plain chopper?
Right.
New design to it.
Was this...
So I just, it was their new design to their choppers.
Right. Very, very interesting. I just asked because sometimes with sightings like yours and other people, it doesn't have to be, but sometimes people will see black choppers in the same area that they saw these creatures. And our premise is that the military knows about these creatures, but nothing will ever get into a newspaper at a local level. And so they're trying to locate the whereabouts of these creatures to either subdue them, capture them. We don't know. But they'll usually use, more than not, these black scout helicopters is what we think. And they typically have some type of a thermal imaging device mounted on the underside. But if this is a new helicopter, if they're using a new design helicopter, it may be already built internally in the helicopter and not on the external belly underside of the helicopter. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of putting the pieces here. If they were truly out there looking for something like what you saw.
Well, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, it really is. How did you find us? Did someone give you our number, or did you get on and see us, or find the number? How did you find out about us?
Well, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I was looking at some Christian ones, and I flipped through. And I listened to a lot of that stuff before I decided. But some of them they sound a bit weird and off the wall.
Yeah.
And they did. Not like they were making fun of somebody, but not really asking questions and trying to figure it out. And I'd already been laughed at on the radio by a few friends, not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, me and 2 other people, we saw some things we can't explain. We don't know what it was. And I mean, I'm not going to laugh at anybody if they saw something. But if you throw a rock at anything and it's that big, I might laugh or say you're crazy for doing that. But, you know.
I believe you 100%. I really do. I can tell in your voice, and I can tell that you saw something that truly frightened you. And most people that, that listen to these shows and everything, they'll say, well, how do you know that the person was telling the truth? And it's because a couple things. You can hear it in their voice, and most people don't give you a reasoning of why something did something. They just say, I saw this is how big it was, and you can hear the true fright in their voice, that they are extremely shook up. And I can tell that in your voice, especially when you left your message to me. And I'm going to say at this point, it sounds more like a dogman type of creature that people have been seeing numerous places all over the United States and actually in other countries. But this is the first time I've heard one this size. This is incredible for something that large, over the top, terrifying.
And I don't understand why nobody else, besides me and him, because we were outside. I mean, some of those people over there is elderly. Some of them, this one guy that lives on that street, him and his wife, now he stays up and he watches late movies. But he has a chain, fence around all the way around his house. Because I have to take them their mail sometimes. The mailmen get mixed up, and I have to play mailman. We play mailman back and forth because our mailmen don't want to read our names or nothing. And I don't understand why. Maybe they hadn't saw that or something.
Well, I mean, you bring
But
up
I didn't act either. I didn't want to think I was crazy.
Well, right. Absolutely. I mean, that's understandably so. I mean, you bring up a very good point. I mean, at this point in time, though, in many ways, we don't know. Someone may have seen it, and they're just keeping quiet about it because, like you, they don't want to be viewed as, embarrassed or ridiculed or a nut. And so they don't say anything. It's just kind of a private matter. If they saw something, it's just so terrifying to talk about it. It would shake them up too much. And so, the only way you would know is if someone in certain circles, in certain small groups, brought something up. And that would be the only way you would know. And it's interesting that it's at nighttime when you see this. When you notice those impact, when you guys went to the store and you saw this, was there any storms in the area? Had it just got through raining, or was a front coming through, or was it just a clear night?
It was a clear night. The weather's been really weird. The clouds have been weird. The weather's been weird. But on that night, it was clear. It had actually warmed up a little bit.
I say that because sometimes people will see these creatures that it seems that when they're seen the most or when they're visible to people, it's around storms, whether it be a windstorm, a hailstorm, a rainstorm, a snowstorm. Usually it's either prior to, during, or after a storm, but doesn't have to be. There's some people that have seen them on clear nights. So, which is the case with you. It's. I just thought I would ask because sometimes storms have some association. These things tend to pick up activity around that time.
What bothers me is there's 2 bus stops on that side. And that's also where the kids catch the school bus up there. I mean,
oh my gosh.
I can see during the day catch the school bus right out there, right where this thing,
Oh my gosh.
When it gets warm weather and everybody's out and about more.
Yes. I know what you mean. People walking late at night to get the cold.
Yeah, and they thought of that because they've even put sidewalks down where people can walk late at night and stuff.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that.
And not too far from here, they have a walking trail. You can go over there. But they did put a sign up, no walking past 9. Wonder why they did that. Used to go over and walk late at night all the time.
Right. How long ago was that sign put up?
Well, seems like they tore down the swimming pool and they refitted it out there with these nice little sheds and everything. Then they put a sign up, no walking past 9 o'clock. There wasn't but a sign out there that said no biking up on the trails and no skateboarding up there. Now there's a sign that says they don't want you to walk past 9 o'clock. Because I went over and I said, well, gee, how can I walk? Because I used to be on medication that I couldn't get out too much during the daytime. The sun make me sick. But since I can't afford my medicine anymore, I ain't got to worry about that. So I would go at night, and I do things for my dad. My dad's retired, and I don't have a job, so I run and pay the bills and the errands and do all that for my dad. But sometimes I used to like to go over in the summertime when it was real hot. You don't want to walk around 90, 100 degrees in the daytime. It's too hot.
Exactly.
And I would 8 or 9 o'clock. Well, sometimes a little bit later, because I had so much going on. That was the only time I could get any free time to myself. And then I went over and I said, well, so much for that idea about me losing some weight. They done put up a sign. They're doing it past 9 o'clock. Right after they built all those new buildings and stuff right there.
That is very strange, though. I agree with you. I feel sometimes that certain people, certain groups, certain agencies know things, and they really don't tell us the full story. So I don't want to put anything into it that's not there, but part of me, with what you saw and everything that's been going on, part of me wants to say there could be some association to that sign and what you're seeing. I know you've asked me what I thought it was, and what's really strange is this weird markings. This marking, do you remember what it looked like in your head?
I remember one time I was looking up this word, and it took me into something Sumerian, and it had all these little pictures online. I was looking it up, and I was curious. I forget what it was at the time, and it had all these what they call the Sumerian tablets or stuff that had all these they wasn't weird writing on the tablet, but the drawings on the tablet, that thing's feet in that tablet looked exactly like that thing's feet. The back ones anyway. That was only two. That one, the side view. I got a real good look at that one side view of that one.
And again, the marking was on the thigh area or the leg area.
Yes, its legs. Yes. That one leg I could see anyway. But it was on its leg. And to me, that looked like some kind of pattern. It probably meant something, but it didn't mean nothing to me.
Would you do me a favor? And it doesn't have to be immediate, only if you want to. Would you mind and when you get time, get online and look at Sumerian symbols and stuff and see if you can find what it closely looked like. And you've got my number. It should ring up. That's my personal cell that you called me on. And if you can text as close as possible what that looked like, even if you draw it out on paper, I'd like to see. If you wouldn't mind doing that at some time, I'd appreciate it.
Well, that is up online, and it's got a picture. Something kind of weird, ain't it? Because that's biblical, ain't it? Oh, I get a bad feeling about this. It is. It ain't that whole thing, but the legs to it look like what that was.
That is incredible. Well, I'm sorry. It sounds like you suffered a little bit of trauma from it. I'm sorry that you're not sleeping well. A couple things that I want you to do, if you don't mind, and this will help, is that I'm also in healthcare. And so I don't claim to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist by no means. I'm not. But I know enough about healthcare and people that go through stresses and traumas that one thing that can help you sleep a little bit better, and by no means when I say this, it's not going to make you forget. You won't forget something that deep-seated that frightened you. You just won't. But couple things that you can do is, do you take any supplementation, any vitamins or anything?
No.
So what happens when some people suffer a traumatic event is that the part of the brain that called the frontal cortex, it fires like crazy. And it's really hard for people to calm down and go to get in that deep rest. So you might you need some antioxidants. So your B vitamins are very important during this time, and also your magnesium and calcium. So you might want to pick some of that up and start taking it on a daily basis. It's not going to do anything about what you saw, but it'll help your health a little bit. And the magnesium and calcium will help calm things just a tad bit. That's the biggest two things I can think of. And then your oils, like your fish oils, also help your omega-3 fatty acids. And that'll help calm some of that firing down of that brain and that frontal cortex when you have a traumatic event. It kind of settles things down. I want you to just call me any time you want. I'll make myself available. If you see anything or hear of anything else, please feel free to call me. I don't care if it's 2 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 11 p.m. at night. I want you to feel free to. You're not ever going to bother me. I want to make myself available to you. I want to help you, but I want to learn as well. I don't think anyone is necessarily an expert in this area because we're still trying to learn about these creatures. What you saw, it was real. It was flesh and blood. How it got that big, I don't know. I wish I could answer that. I would tell you in a heartbeat if I knew. That's an incredible size. That's terrifying. Something that big.
I don't pull in no more. I started backing in. I don't want my back to the road.
I don't blame you one bit. I don't.
The guy who did my deck, I had this pergola added on out there to my deck. I made the guy rearrange the table so my back wouldn't be to that road. Ever.
There's something about that road and that path that's making it. It's either going back, it's going out to do something, feed, or going back to its den. I don't know. There's something about that route that's very strange. Very strange.
Yep. Internet's been using it at least 3 times that I caught it. But that third time, then I realized, that's real. That wasn't what I thought somebody pointed a joke. That ain't no joke.
Yeah, that's a terrifying, just the sheer size of that. Very terrifying. Well, I don't know if I helped at all. I want to thank you for sharing. I, again, can't imagine what everything you went through, especially your dad. How's he doing?
Well, he's doing good. He's real active. But he knows when I'm walking back and forth, he says, looking for that monster, ain't you? And I said, well, I'm keeping my eye out for that. I don't want to be with my back and what is the old expression, you don't want to have your pants down?
Yes.
I think people have been killed by those things.
Well, that's definitely a plausible thought. I mean, I hate to even think of it, but there is, especially when it's roaming around a neighborhood early in the morning. I mean, again, I'd hate to be jogging at night or anything like that, or have a car broke down changing a tire in its path.
Mm-mm. I mean, this is in town. You ain't supposed to see stuff like that. You're supposed to see stuff like that like in the boonies.
Exactly. Although I have heard there's been some few episodes where people have seen them in their communities. Now, these are smaller communities, and there's typically river or water sources close by, which I was going to ask you, is there a river or water source close by, not too far?
Yeah, the river's just down the road. And you can look it up on the map.
I'll take a look. I sure will. I'm curious it sounds like the topography in the area is woods, hills, lots of trees. But like you said, there was a tornado that took out a lot of trees in that area, so there's some wide open areas. So that's why you're kind of puzzled. Where in the heck is this thing going?
Yeah. Maybe its route got all cleared out or something. But
well, it's some. If you ever come across that symbol that you saw on that leg, if you could remember it in your mind's eye and just draw it on a paper and send it to me, I would really like to see what it was you saw.
Well, that's what it looked like. See, I saw this artwork, and it looked like this weird looking. It didn't look that person on that tablet. It was a drawing. It looked like a person, but it ain't a person. And it looked like it was holding this giant cat or something. But the legs on the cat, it had like this It didn't look like lion legs, even though the head did, but the body kind of did, but the legs didn't. You know?
Yeah. That is strange. That is very strange.
That's what it reminded me of, though.
Wow.
I was sitting over here, and I was thinking, I said, God, I've seen that somewhere. Where did I see that? And then it just hit me. That's where I saw that. It's some kind of drawing of something holding another kind of like a line or something, but its body parts didn't match neither.
I'll take a look. I'll definitely take a look. Is your number that you called me on? Can you receive text and pictures on your phone? If I find something and I send it to you, can you take a look?
No, this is my house phone number. It don't.
Okay.
Text.
Well, I tell you what. If
See, I have a cell phone, but I don't know how to text.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If what I'll do is I've got your number, and then I'll if I come across something like that, what I'll do is I'll call you back and I'll mail it to you. Would that be okay? And then when you get it, we can talk and you can tell me if it was close. So I'll do some investigation first on it.
Okay.
I tell you what, I wish I could give you a lot of answers and on this subject, but I know more than the average person out there, I guess you could say. But I'll say this, that I want you to try and just over time start getting better rest if you can. I know it's going to be a process. Time is going to help a little bit here. And you can call me anytime you want. If you learn of anything else strange in the area or you see anything at that moment, please call me. And if I don't answer immediately, just leave a message saying, hey, I need to talk to you. And I'll call shortly after, I promise.
Okay, thank you.
And so feel free to call me anytime. Help any way I can. It's kind of hard through the phone, but I'll do my best in chatting with you and just talking things through with you. I want to thank you for being courageous and calling me. And, these shows help other people that's seen things. Because a lot of people never say anything because they think people are going to judge them and think they're crazy. And they're not. They really saw something. I want you to take care of your dad. I know you are. It sounds like you guys are close. Again, call me anytime. I really appreciate you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, blessings, and we'll talk soon again. I like to just follow up with people.
All right, that'll be fine.
Okay.